Hey, legendary family, y'all already know what time it is, and I hope you guys enjoyed this wave of videos. I know I've been having some problems trying to get some of these videos out to you guys, but I hope you guys appreciate and are patient enough to be along for the ride. So let's talk about this death battle. Now, the problem I had with this was the fact that they used Jean Grey. Now, you might say, oh, wait, I thought that is the original Phoenix. Yes, it is. But it's not the fact that they used her. It's the fact that, well, it's not the fact that it was Jean herself. It was the fact that they didn't keep it as Jean herself. Keep it as Jean Feats. Keep it as her being the perfect Phoenix. Now, again, do we expect Death Battle to get anything right? No. But I do expect them to have some common sense every now and then. For starters, I knew they were going to mess it up by trying to use other avatars to scale Jean Grey's Phoenix, which doesn't, it doesn't work like that at all. You see, Jean upscales every single Phoenix avatar because she's been one of the only few that can actually control the full power and the full totality of the Phoenix. They even said it themselves that the Phoenix actually views Jean as her perfect host, the best host, in fact. And again, this is because Jean can get the full power of the Phoenix, meaning Green Phoenix, Dark Phoenix, and obviously the White Phoenix. And again, they had the scan themselves. They literally had the perfect opportunity to really upscale Jean from other Phoenix users. But again, you see, I knew they were gonna do that. I had a really good feeling they weren't gonna really take these scans without the context to them, including Raven's, because Raven, I don't have a problem with her scaling, especially with her scaling to Trigon. I do have a problem with her scaling to the Spectre though. But the thing is, they didn't go fully, they didn't go on with that comment because I knew they were gonna give Raven a win here. And again, I don't have a problem with Raven beating Jean Grey herself, except the Phoenix on top of Jean's power is just a whole nother level entirely. Keep in mind that the Phoenix said she and Jean could transcend the White Hot Room, which is one of the highest points in the Marvel multiverse, and it's absolutely ridiculous as well. Now, again, characters like the Phoenix 5 and other Phoenix users would scale below Jean. But let's talk about this real quick here. If you guys look at this scan, the Phoenix says it was a simple matter to restore Rachel Gray's body, but I've learned through bitter experiences that the human mind and soul are beyond my understanding. Again, it's beyond her understanding, not beyond her power. There's a big difference between understanding something and having the power to do it. And again, Marvel cosmic entities have a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Lack of experience, or lack of, I guess you could say, yeah, pretty much lack of experience with human emotions and the mind and how their souls work. It does not mean the Phoenix failed to restore her. They even had the scan on screen, as I showed, that the Phoenix had restored Rachel Gray's soul. So again, it was absolutely no reason to use that to try and lowball them. And again, they kept comparing her to other avatars of the Phoenix. She's not comparable to them. She is vastly above them, like I said earlier. The thing is, there's literally a quote from Rachel who had the Phoenix, and it said that Jean is still the one true host of the Phoenix. Keep in mind that White Phoenix users like Tala, who they use to scale to Jean, I don't know how that works, because if you read the Defenders run itself, Tala, as a White Phoenix, was above the Beyonder, who was, back to his pre-retcon self here, and God of Stories Loki. And even then, the Phoenix said, yeah, this host has her limits. Even in the White Hot Room, this host has her limits. And again, all the White Phoenix did was simply just push death out the way and not got rid of and scared off the Black Winter. Like, what you're scaring off the Black Winter? Oh, the same Black Winter that can, destroy an entire universe with ease. The same Black Winter that was giving promise to a cosmic King Thor and a Galactus that absorbed the energy, this volatile energy of multiple planets to give him a power boost he has never had before. And again, this is because he doesn't remember his time in the Dark Dimension. So yeah, this is a Galactus that's been more powerful than his base self has ever been. And keep in mind as well, they could have literally upscaled her from Phoenix Force Cyclops, who is able to actually decimate a younger Shao-Lao who is equal to the Phoenix Force. Like the pure entity of the Phoenix Force, not with any host here either. And again, Jean would upscale that by a huge margin. Keep in mind as well, Dark Phoenix Cyclops, barely even knows how Jean felt. He's like, oh, maybe this is what Jean felt. And again, he was going toe-to-toe with characters like Hulk, Red Hulk, Thor, Bleeding Edge Iron Man, beings that have universal to out-versal feats. But again, we know Death Battle doesn't go that high, so let's keep it at multiversal, all right? Or complex multiversal, if you will. So again, we have entities like Shao-Lao, who even Phoenix Force Cyclops confirmed, yeah, you were able to hurt me. I'm gonna make sure you don't do that again here. Like, he was actually going out of his way to kill Shao-Lao because he was such a threat. Now, let's go over to another problem here. They completely botched how Unkindness Raven was born, and I have a huge problem with that because again, Raven is one of my favorite DC characters. Like, there's no ifs and buts about it. She's my second favorite, and this comes from the Teen Titans Future State run, which was again, one of the few futures that DC could have had. Again, they had multiple, but they chose to go with this one, which I was really happy with. And Unkindness Raven had merged with a couple of demons. Yeah, she merged with like a couple other entities as well. However, she didn't become this because, she didn't become the Unkindness just yet. No. That happened when Shazam fused her with the Rock of Eternity, one of the most powerful DC, I guess you could say, artifacts in the verse. And again, they were using unkindness scaling without giving it the proper context to it. So you mean to tell me Shazam is a part of this fight as well? So, I mean, that's pretty simple, right? And saying that she could bind herself to White Phoenix and not even use the right scan for it and not even use the proper context for it, again, shows that Death Battle, yet again, has no idea what they're talking about with even their Marvel versus DC characters. And that's ridiculous. So again, their results would actually be wrong for both. Theoretically, less stamina and experience. Yes, Raven is less experienced than Jean. Like, Jean's been doing this for years. And the Phoenix has been around since the BC era. So before probably Raven was even born. And again, it said lack of spiritual defenses. Well, no, that's wrong because the Phoenix is able to restore souls. And then you couldn't destroy the soul self. But yet they said the Phoenix was powerful enough to still destroy souls. But why couldn't she do it? Now let's go over this scan right here. They said the Phoenix was actually beaten by this green kitty. Not even giving the Tiger God himself some respect. Oh, and here's the funny thing, right? This is again Tala with the White Phoenix and America Chavez, who had the Mask of Eternity, which allowed her to imbue a part of the White Phoenix within her. And keep in mind, Blue Marvel was also going toe-to-toe with the White Phoenix, which again will put him at a much higher level than a lot of Marvel characters, and probably will put him in the top 3 with Hulk and Cosmic King Thor and Hulk. And again, back to the Tiger God here, it still got yoked, as you can see here. So again, Death Battle. Again, where's that context, huh? And again, the Beyonder and God of Stories Loki are some of the most powerful entities in the Marvel multiverse. All right? And this is God of Stories Loki, who manipulates plot narratives. God of Stories Loki is so powerful that he can literally make plot armor a weapon. Like, he can control everyone's story. Even beings as powerful as Thor and the Beyonder himself even stated that, yeah, you can control my story pretty easily. I mean, I'm powerless really against you. And he was also powerless against the White Phoenix. Keep in mind, this is current Beyonder as well. Current Beyonder is back to his pre-retcon days now, because Marvel is actually restoring a lot of their older, I guess you could say, more powerless characters back to their original selves here. And again, this is the same pre-retcon Beyonder who could flex off Celestials and fight against cosmic beings and shake the multiverse by feeling an emotion. Really? And again, the Tiger God himself is beyond beings like Lifebringer Galactus, Master Order, Lord Chaos, and has even got the attention of the Never Queen, who exists in the 8th cosmos. A daughter of, I think, a child of eternity as well, as I think. So again, the Tiger God is up there. The Tiger God is one of the most powerful entities in the verse. And keep in mind, it was thrashing beings that were more powerful than Lifebringer Galactus. Lifebringer Galactus is an absolute, beast when it comes to the cosmic hierarchy. Like, so powerful that he's able to eat beings that are beyond naming itself. Meaning that this thing is beyond the literal concept of naming, and Galactus picked him up like he was a chicken nugget and just ate him. Yet the Tiger God is beyond this guy. Death Battle, having a very hard time understanding what was the logic in that. Why couldn't y'all show the context here? Now, do I have a problem with Raven winning against the Phoenix? No, not really. I do think that White Raven is the route to go. But again, I don't see her beating White Phoenix Jean Grey. White Phoenix Jean Grey is just way too much of a different animal for a White Raven here. And again, regular Phoenix users like Rachel Gray, who a regular Phoenix user like Jean Grey would scale above, or even the Dark Phoenix version should scale above here, right? Was able to knock out the Beyonder. And the Beyonder was actually like smiling at first, but then it realized that that power is going to get a little bit too much for him. And again, it dropped him like it was nothing. Let's go over one of the final points here, the Spectre scaling. Now again, I know a lot of DC fans love to use this. It was one of Raven's big moments. And unfortunately, most of y'all ignore the context that was going on within Dark Crisis itself. Dark Crisis, even though it was one of the worst DC Crisis events ever, but still had some good moments with Black Adam carrying it. And again, we're going to talk about the reason why I have a problem with this scaling when it gets to the Black Adam versus Apocalypse debunk, is because they actually used Dark Crisis scaling for Raven, but didn't use it for Black Adam. Keep in mind, the Dark Army, or the main ones like Doomsday, Empty Hand, True Form, Darkseid, Ares, Neron, and so on and so forth, were all weakened. This even includes the villains of like the Legion of Doom and stuff like that. And this is confirmed by the Justice League members themselves, who have the most experience. Wonder Woman and Superman have dealt with Darkseid and Ares on multiple occasions. So again, if they're not fighting like they're supposed to, I would believe them when they tell me that these villains are not operating at peak efficiency. And again, they were still too much for the League. And yet you have, Teen Titans and stuff doing a whole lot, I guess you could say somewhat better in this situation. Now again, Raven held her own against this Spectre, but she didn't beat him. She wasn't matching him at all. He was straight up just dog walking her, reversing even her own attacks against her. Again, just showing one panel of her clashing with him with an energy blast does not mean she is relative to him at all. And again, she was one-shotted by Doomsday in that same comic. Now you might say, oh, well, that's not really an anti-feat. Actually, it is. Because this is a Spectre. Do you guys consider Doomsday on par with the Spectre? especially a Doomsday that was weakened to the point where Black Canary could break bones off of him. Like, I don't know about y'all, but me personally, I don't think that's even remotely close to Spectre level. And then Raven had to beat him by using Jim Corrigan to pretty much getting the old give him a host maneuver to attach himself to in order to win here. Now again, like I said earlier, I don't have a problem with Raven beating regular everyday Jean Grey. But the Phoenix and the White Phoenix itself are just simply big fat no's for me. Like, it's just, they're different power levels, in entirely different power levels, in all honesty. But that's going to be all for today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. Peace.